Hey, drop. Yeah, hey, drop.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had a little audio problem. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of All. I'm your man, God of Dots, back with the daily sports breakdown from all worlds of sports. Hope everybody had a very good weekend. I know that I did. Had a very good night. Got a chance to watch Game 2. We're gonna talk about it. Miami Heat take one in Denver. Didn't see that one coming after Game 1, but we're gonna kind of break it down in detail and kind of look forward to a pivotal stretch of the NBA Finals. As you know, the finals breakdown is 2-3-2 as far as home games are concerned. So the next 3 games will be in Miami. We'll talk about it. Also, got a little news coming out of the NFL. Another player has been being investigated for gambling. We're going to see how this one goes. I got a feeling that this guy's going to get caught up. But we'll talk about that once we get there. Like I said, I hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody has a good, prosperous week moving forward. I know I plan to. Those that are new to the channel, subs are going up. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate it. Remember, like, share, subscribe, all the content. Yes. I'll be the gracious host that I am. Give a shout out to those who have made themselves known. Those who are watching on the replay, thank you for watching. Miss VS, how you doing? Miss Murph is in the building. Thank you. Yes, another gambling situation, Miss VS, but we're gonna talk about it because I think the NFL may be reaching, but I got a feeling that the players going to get caught up once they start applying that pressure the NFL does when it comes to your circle around you. But we'll talk about that a little bit towards the end of the show before we kind of get up out of here. Okay, so first of all, Game 2 last night, Miami clutches up, takes Game 2 on the road. If you missed the final minutes of the fourth quarter, very exciting. It's up on the channel. Like, sure, I'm trying to provide you the content for those who don't have the patience to sit there and watch the game. I try to give you the most important highlights in shorts and in clips. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, Miami. It was a pretty tight game first half. Let's talk about the game in itself. We'll talk about Miami, the adjustments that they made to win, and what that looks like going forward. In Denver, I mean, the question has to be asked, and you see it going across the screen on the ticker: is this a series now? I myself still believe in a gentleman's sweep. I thought it was going to be ended in 5, but the way Miami kind of played last night, could this series extend possibly past 5, or could Miami have the formula for success? Could Miami have the formula for success? Because typically what we've seen through these playoffs, Denver has kind of steamrolled their way here, steamrolled through the West, beat who they were supposed to beat. Not much of a challenge, no questions of whether they was going to win the series. Probably the most debatable series that they had. They swept my Lakers, but that was probably the most closely contested series that they had thus far, coming into the finals. But Miami was able to make adjustments. Like they stayed close into the game. Bam is making himself. He's growing on me. Those that have been watching the show know I've been critical of Bam. Is not being aggressive with attacking the hold, selling for the jump shot, not really using, not being engaged offensively. I think he's been playing well defensively and on the glass, but you're starting to see the effect that Bam can have on a game. He had a very good game one, had a very good game two, very clutch game two. I like the fact that when Bam gets the ball, hey, attack. You're as far as athletic, Yoke can't stay in front of you. Aaron Gordon has been preoccupied with putting clamps on Jimmy Butler, and he's been doing a very good job. Jimmy Butler kind of got going in the second half. Miami made the adjustments and started doing a lot of screen and rolls involving the point guard, and it was getting switches. So to kind of get Aaron Gordon off of Butler, Miami was doing the pick and roll. So you saw Jimmy kind of get it going against KCP, going against Jamal Murray. They're not the defensive players that Aaron Gordon is. They don't provide the athleticism or the length or the strength to really handle a Jimmy Butler. So I like the fact that Spo made coaching adjustments, and those, like I said, those who have been watching the show, I've been talking about this playoffs, coaching adjustments. You're seeing how big of an impact a coach can have as far as making adjustments in game, after games, during the series, adjusting lineups. Like, with the exception of your superstar or your star players, everybody is interchangeable at this point. I saw Kyle Lowry get a lot of burn last night. You saw Kevin Love start for Miami to kind of help space out the floor, kind of drag Joke away from the rim. But I like what Miami did. And it's a very old NBA concept when we're talking about how do you defend superstar players? How do you keep teams that have those superstar players, MVP caliber players, how do you keep them contained on the offensive end? And I think, they learned from game one. Game one, they tried to, limit Yoke's scoring. And, when you try to limit Yoke's scoring, you really open up the floor and open up the passing lanes for him to kind of look over and make the assist happen. Not to see, not that he didn't have a bad game, but if you watched the game last night, he went off of 40. And not that that's an abnormal number, but if you watch the game, they didn't really run too many bodies at Yoke. They allowed Yoke to kind of work one-on-one. When he did crash into the paint, of course, you bring more bodies. But they allowed Yoke to kind of get off, hey, you're going to score. You're going to have to beat us. You're going to have to beat us. You're going to have to beat us. You're going to have to, beat us. And I like that approach. That's the old school NBA approach, kind of like when you used to play the Lakers, Shaq, Kobe, Lakers back in the day. You had, hey, Shaq, you're going to get yours. Everybody else, we're going to kind of have to limit the scoring. And that's how you handle those guys. Those guys, hey, they're going to get theirs. I'm not saying you make it easy for them, but I like the approach Miami took. Hey, Joker's going to get his. Jamal Murray kind of came late to the party, during the fourth quarter. Aaron Gordon, other than what he was doing on the defensive end, wasn't really a presence on the offensive end like he was. Michael Porter Jr. Didn't really jump off the screen to me from when I was watching the game. But I like the fact, the Spo made the adjustment. Yeah, Spo has been here before, Ms. VS, and it shows. It shows in how the team's prepared. You see the lineup changes, guys getting minutes. It's a possibility. Speaking of coaching changes, it's a possibility. Tyler Hero has been medically cleared, but was a do not play in games 1 and 2. Is a possibility. You may see him on Wednesday night when game 3 tips off in Miami. Tyler Hero may be back into the rotation. I expect him to kind of get 15, 20 minutes if he does come back. That's another shooter out on the court. That's another creator. More important than that, he's more of a creator. He can create off the dribble. He can, set other guys up. He can get to the bucket, and he can shoot. So you got another guy on the court that can create, got to get his own shot, take the pressure off of Jimmy. Because as long as Aaron Gordon is allowed to kind of be the primary defender on Jimmy, it's going to be tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. As great a player Jimmy is, Aaron Gordon has been locked in on the defensive end the entire playoffs. You saw what he did against KD. You saw the trouble LeBron had against him. The guy is long. He's just as tall, if not taller, than Jimmy Butler. More athletic than Jimmy Butler. Just as strong as Jimmy Butler. So it's been giving him problems. Jimmy has put up respectable numbers, but he's had to work very, very, very hard when Aaron Gordon has been the primary defender on him. So I like the fact that Spo made that coaching adjustment. Hey, we're gonna start running more pick and rolls, getting more of the smaller guards, on Jimmy, allow Jimmy a lot more room to operate. Kind of get Aaron Gordon off and let him breathe a little bit. And I like the fact that hey, they're leaning at times primarily on Bam to be attacking when it comes to the offense. Game 2 showed me personally, like I said, I'm still picking Nuggets in 5. I still think it's a gentleman's sweep. Because if you take away the fourth quarter, Denver was in control of that game. They wasn't in complete control, but they was in control enough to where they had maintained the lead throughout the majority of that game. Fourth quarter, Spo makes some key adjustments as far as the defensive end, the offensive, and they kind of got it going. And Denver kind of came to the party late. The defense kind of broke down. We focus so much what Denver does on the offensive end just because of the players that they have. When we talk about Yoke, we're talking about Murray, we're talking about Gordon, we're talking about Michael Porter. You focus so much on what they do on offensive end, you kind of forget that Denver, especially during this playoff run, has been one of the better defensive teams. And you saw last night, Miami was able to carve them up. Duncan Robinson got it going with a quick stretch. Jimmy Butler got it going. Bam was effective in the fourth quarter. So the pressure is on Denver. I mean, Denver, Miami's playing, in my opinion, Miami's playing with house money. Miami is playing with house money. Nobody expects Miami to win, let alone extend this series to 6-7 games. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't expect it to I don't expect it to last but hey, this is the NBA. Anything can happen. And when you have a coach like Spoelstra, you have a team that is well coached and as disciplined as Miami, you never know. You never know. I mean, they could have easily folded last night. They were struggling to stay in the game. Jimmy didn't have it going. Bam, was carrying the load. Caleb Martin, had a good game, but it seemed like Denver was just too much. But then they kind of got it together in the fourth quarter. Now, like I said, the pressure is on Denver. You're going down to Miami for the least, you're going down to Miami for the next 3 games. You're going down to Miami for the next 3 games. Now, typically, you think the NBA Finals, but you know how fickle Miami crowd is. They don't really show up to the second quarter. So it's not like you're going to be going down there and the house is going to be buzzing and, full throttle from the opening tip. Miami's just not that kind of crowd. They weren't that kind of crowd during the championship years. And it's not. They kind of we come in the middle of the first quarter. It's Miami. An NBA Finals game. It's for people that's down in Miami, man, it is not a hot ticket like it would be in some other places. But like I said, the pressure is on Denver. You're going to have to make adjustments. You're going to have to understand that, hey, some of the stuff that we had going that was working for us through game 1 and through most of game 2, we're going to have to make adjustments. Mike Malone, you're going to have to make adjustments. I think you need to probably kind of look at the lineup that they have out there. You may have to play Jeff Green a couple more minutes to kind of, he's a more athletic big. He can switch out on Jimmy if they do run a screen and roll, but you need Jeff Green out there to kind of pose some kind of a problem for Bam. Bam is too quick a foot. Bam is too fast for Joe. And if they want to continue to play Kevin Love, let Yoke go out there and camp out on the 3-point line where Kevin Love is more comfortable at. Save his energy for the offensive end because him burning up the energy to guard Bam and then being responsible for carrying the offensive load like he was last night, that is not a recipe for long-term success. It's not. I think Jamal Murray needs to come out, be very aggressive in game 3, put the pressure on Miami's defense to where they can't just sit back. They kind of have to start scheming for him also. I think Miami did a good job last night. Let Yoke get his, limit the damage from the others. Don't let those guys get going. And it was they was able to stay into the game. Then they kind of blew it open in the fourth quarter. I know it was a wild ending to it. Denver fought back, tried to force it. I think Mike Malone, in that situation, you got a timeout. Why are you holding it? You get the key rebound, you get the key stop. Hey, set up a play. get the right personnel out there, and get the right plan. You have a timeout. You can't take it home with you. You can't take it to you with the next game. You can't do it. So in that situation, I think that was a mistake by Mike Malone. I understand sometimes maybe if the score was tied, I get not calling a timeout, let the guy get the last shot. Worst case scenario, you misses and you go into overtime. Exactly, Gator Girl. Take the timeout. You're down. That's situation like I said, situation was reversed, tied game. You get the rebound, 8 seconds left on the clock. Let the guy come down and shoot it. Worst case scenario, you're going to overtime. No harm, no foul. But in that situation, you're down. You fought back. You got key stops when you need it because Miami kind of let you back into the game in the last couple of minutes. And if you missed it, hey, I got it up on the channel. I got you. But Miami kind of let them get back into the game. But Mike Malone, hey, I think that was a mistake on your part. Call the timeout. Get the shots you want. Get the spacing that you want. I know that gives Miami a chance to set up defensively, but that gives you a chance to set up offensively. Maybe some quick screen and roll action with Yoke, on a pick and pop. Just in case the big man drops, give Yoke. He had it going last night. Had a pretty hot hand. If Bam kind of sags off, kick it over to Joke. Let him shoot one of them rainbow threes, and try to take you home. If not, you got. Murray had it going. Like I said, call a timeout, man. Call a timeout. Miami, defensively, what they was doing, and especially in that fourth quarter, you saw a lot of man, and they would just switch the zone right in the middle of the play. And it was kind of confusing Denver, and it gave Denver problems, and allowed Miami to kind of get back into the game. Not only get back into the game, take the lead. And by the time they started to figure it out, hey, it was no time left on the clock. There was no time left on the clock. So I'm expecting Mike Malone, hopefully you make coaching adjustments. Understand that as great as Yoke is, and Yoke is a great player, he's not going to be able to carry you offensively like he did in game 2 for y'all to be successful. I think you're going to see Jamal Murray come out, be aggressive. I expect Michael Porter Jr. to come out to be aggressive, put more pressure on the Miami defense. But on the other hand, I expect Spo to kind of see what worked in the fourth quarter and try to duplicate some of that when we start game 3. But it's a series. It's a series. I'm still going Nuggets in 5. I'm gonna stick with my pick before the series started. Still think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep, but last night made it very, very, very interesting. If you watch the game, you see how the game kind of ended. It was some things to take away from there for Miami. It was some things to say, not just the W, but some things. Hey, we saw this work, and things that you'll see supposed to kind of go back to. Before I kind of get up out of here, offense got to go through Murray. Yeah, I believe that, Gator Girl. Like I said, Murray's got to come out, be aggressive. He can't just kind of sit back and not allow. You can't allow Miami to kind of dictate that. Miami took a different approach last night. You saw Yoke, a lot of one-on-ones. Yoke was cooking, but the other guys they won effect. Miami said, hey, you can get yours, but they're not going to get theirs. And I think Denver, what makes them dangerous, that they got guys that can light it up. Murray can get hot and give you 30. Michael Porter Jr. can get hot and give you 20, 25. Gordon, when he's in attack mode and he's getting fed, he can be, effective offensively. I think Denver got caught. Hey, they was just leaning on Yoke. Nobody was wanting to really attack the Miami defense like that until it was too late. Well, I talked about that last week, but I kind of touch on it now, Gator Girl, since you're here. Frank Vogel, the Phoenix, going to work? Nope. I don't think Vogel makes it to the end of his contract. Now, I know why you brought him in. He's got a ring, more of a defensive guy, but I don't think Vogel style of play fits with the personnel that they have. And that's going to be a big problem with this team going forward. A lot of the depth they had, they gave away when they got KD. Now you got to kind of rebuild that depth, and Vogel's going to want guys that want to come in and play D. You're going to see small forwards be like 3-and-D. You don't really need shooting with Phoenix. You need guys to come in to accept their role. So I don't know what that looks like, but I don't think Vogel makes it to the end of his contract. As long as KD and Book, I don't think he makes it to the end of his contract. Kind of surprising to me. I was surprising. You go from Monty Williams to Frank Vogel, and granted, Vogel does have a ring. I would have made a harder push if you're just going to get a guy with a ring. I might have reached out to former Milwaukee head coach Mike Budenholzer. I might have done that. I might have done that move. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if Vogel makes it to the end. I don't know if Vogel makes it to the end of that contract that they gave him. But shout out to him. But no, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work a long time. I think it's going to be a struggle because he's used to coaching talented players, but the players that he's used to coaching, really want to buy in on the defensive end. Anthony Davis was buying in on the defense. LeBron buying in on the defense. The championship year that they won, the Lakers were a very good defensive team. Very good defensive team. So I don't know if Booker is ready to buy in and expend that much energy on defense. I don't know if KD, will his health allow him to make it through a season? I don't know, but hey, we'll kind of sit back and see. Me personally, I don't think Vogel makes it to the end, but that's just me. Hey, some of my picks are right, some of my picks are wrong, but it is what it is. Before I kind of get up out of here, it's going to be kind of a short show tonight. Like I said, I've been preparing. Let's sign up before I get into the NFL news. I am preparing videos, getting ready to do upload. OTAs have kind of started in some cities as far as some teams. We're going to be, putting out the NFL content. We're going to be start rolling into that as soon as the NFL season kind of gets rolling as far as preseason training camp starting. We're going to be rolling out the NFL content, but we still be talking about the NBA until the finals are over. About the next time you hear about the NBA on this channel, maybe a draft recap or major free agency, something like that, but it'll just be a cliff note. It won't be the main topic. But before I get up out of here, I want to talk about the NFL news that is coming out. Indianapolis Colts player Isaiah Rodgers, a 6th-round draft pick a couple years ago, plays cornerback and kick returner for the Colts, is under investigation by the you follow USFL at times, but not enough to really do content on it. I have watched a couple games, Gator Girl. I'll probably start watching more of that because I know Fox has been really putting those kind of games out, especially when it comes out on like Saturday. Those are like Saturday games. So I've been watching those to kind of get my football fix. But yeah, I can't tell you too much about it. I just know it's games. I don't know how good the teams are, who's on those teams, but I'll start doing my research and kind of add that to the lexicon in the conversation. But back to the NFL news. Like I said, Isaiah Rodgers, cornerback for the Indianapolis Colts, is being looked at for gambling. Now, when you read early reports of the story that has come out, they're not really. What they're doing is the betting commissions that have reported this to the NFL, they're alleging, this is alleged, that it's not necessarily him that's doing the betting. It's somebody closely related to him in his circle that is doing the betting. We're not talking about large amounts of money. According to the report, it's been about 100 bets. Most of them haven't been about $25 to $50. So real low level bets, nothing that will raise the radar of some major gambling. But he's still being investigated because whoever this person is somebody that's quote unquote tied to his inner circle. And I hate to say when I'm reading the story, because like I said, they're not saying that he's the one doing it, but somebody closely associated with him. I don't want to see the young man get the Michael Vick treatment. Give me a sec, y'all. And what I mean by the Mike Vick treatment, I mean being have guys that are doing stuff and your name being associated with it. Mike Vick, the story about him and the dog fight and that kind of stuff. Dumb move. I'm not going to excuse that dumb move, but when you got people around you and you're in a circle, you got to understand, hey, some of this stuff can be a negative, casting a negative light on me. If you're going to be gambling, don't. First of all, if you're my friend, you're part of my inner circle, and we in contact like that, and you're gambling, I would think you have enough common sense to not bet on my games, my team. Especially if people know that you're closely associated with him, and that's what the NFL is investigating right now. I think what it looks like they're trying to do is tie whoever this associate is with him, and you know how the NFL is when they get you in the room. Some people crack under the pressure, and this person, may come out and say, and it's not a crime to gamble for the person, whoever it is, but when they get in the room with the NFL, you see people crack, man. You see people crack, and all of a sudden his story may change. He might say, hey, Isaiah told me to place the bets for him. Now this guy is going to get suspended 6 games, and he's a 6th round pick. Just completed a 4-year deal worth about $4 million. So we're not talking about a superstar player that could really afford to miss 6 games. This guy rolls and comes out with a story that Isaiah Rodgers told him to place the bets for him and place the bets on his team. You talking about this guy's NFL career being over, So whoever this associate is, if you're within the listening ears of my voice, if you're the one that's gambling, keep it at that. Keep it at that. I mean, if that is your friend, that is your friend. Hey, keep it at that. They ask you, did he tell you the place? Nope. Did he give you insider information? Nope. Because I'm telling you, get in there and you say, well, he told me this or he told me that, they're going to suspend this young man for 6 games for placing bets that technically he didn't place because you cracked under the pressure. And his career could possibly be over. He could be out of the NFL and possibly playing in the USFL. Get a girl. You never know. This water's good. But yeah, guys in the NFL, like I said, if you're listening, and not just the NFL, professional sports, just a professional period. This is kind of, let me get on my soapbox for a bit before I kind of get up out of here. Yes, career may be over, Miss VS. Career may be over. 6th round pick, barely getting playing time. You're a kick returner, backup cornerback. I mean, they can find you on the street, man. You're not playing I'm gonna be honest with you, you're not playing a high value position. There's plenty of guys that can go out there. You are just a 6th round pick, so it's not like the team had a lot invested in you, and it wasn't like your name was popping where we're talking about you getting a big upgrade and big raise on your contract. So you could possibly be out of the league, man. You could possibly be out of the league over something that technically you didn't do. So, like I said, we're going to see how that goes. Let me kind of get on my soapbox again. If you've been listening to the shows, you know how I feel about guys and their entourage, but it extends to everyday life, everyday professional life. If you're a professional, be mindful of the company you keep. Be mindful of the company you keep, those who associate with you, those who are around you. Be mindful of the activities that they're into. And if they're in the activities that you just can't deal with, or that doesn't enhance your life, man, like you might just, you might go from friend to associate, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's some people that I've known well over 20 plus years that you went from friends to associates because with elevation comes separation. The kind of stuff that you're into, I'm not into. It's not worthwhile for me. It doesn't enhance my life. And you professional athletes, man, you got to start looking at that with your family members, with people that you associate with. I like to use the quote from Jay-Z all the time. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. If you can't take nothing from LeBron, you use that as as a template of how to create a circle worthwhile. Everybody that's in his circle, first of all, is multimillionaires in their own right. Rich Paul is probably the most powerful agent in the NBA. He went from, I'm part of LeBron's crew to I'm my own force. That should be the template for all professional athletes when you're talking about your entourage and your inner circle. If they're not on that kind of, hey, you can still be friends, we can still be family, but I can't be involved in that. So, word to the wise, guys, if you're listening, probably not, but if this happening to touch your ears, hey man, be mindful. And just for the everyday person, same thing. Be mindful. Be mindful of the company you keep. Be mindful of the company you keep. Your circle is a reflection of you. Control. Ooh, that word, Ms. VS. About to start something. But yeah, your circle is a reflection of you. Now, this guy, Isaiah Rodgers, and like I said, I hope he comes out of this because, like I said, early reports are he wasn't the one to place the bets. We're not talking about large sums of money. They said most of the bets was $25 to $50. There's only about 100 bets. But if this guy gets into a room, whoever this person is in his circle that placed this bet that they're associating with him, I hope this guy don't get in there and fold, because you're talking about, his career, for lack of better terms, is over. I mean, you're already a fringe player. We can find, hey, they draft fringe players every year in April. So, oh no. Itty bitty bets, yes, Ms. VS. They said it was $20 to $50 bet. I think one of the bets was a low level 4 figures. But we're not talking about serious amounts of cash, but they're doing an investigation. And you know how that turns out. The NFL can still suspend the dude. Even if the guy says I did it, the NFL can say, "Hey man, you associated with the dude. We don't need evidence that you did it. You associated with him," and they could possibly suspend this dude 2-3 games just for being involved in something dealing with betting, or being by proxy involved in it. The NFL can do what they want, man. The NFL can do what they want when it comes to discipline players, suspending players, doing what they want. Hey, players, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother show. We can talk about that, as far as players associations and the leagues, who's running the show and who's not. But before I get up out of here, thank you everybody that has come through. Thank you all the people that have subbed and liked, shared the content. I very much appreciate it. Like I said, coming weeks we'll be rolling out more NFL content. This channel will be more focused on NFL, but we will, if it's news, it's news. I'm gonna talk about it. It's a sports show, but it will be more focused on NFL. That is my favorite sport. Basketball is second, but it's not a distant second, but it's second. But we will be focused more on the NFL. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, once again, thank you everybody for listening in, tuning in to the show. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Still don't have an outro, but I'm out.